This is our first installment in our many, many series to come. And we're going to be covering a range of topics that hopefully will help you engage your child at home, engage their learning, engage with what's going on around them in during this tough period and so forth. So we have a lot of things planned out for the rest of the year for this VLP series. And the general structure, as you can see, you're going to have some polls to answer. You're going to get a chance to ask questions using the Q&A function on Zoom. There's going to be some surveys. You're going to get a chance to, chat with our panelists, with different panelists each week. So it's a very exciting series that we have coming forth. I'm going to pass it over to T to give you a bit of an overview of what are some of the topics we're going to in our series that we're going to explore.
Great, thank you, Mr. Rico. Well, thank you for everyone for coming this morning to our first Verita Live for Parents. We're really happy to have you all here. It's exciting to work together, and so we hope there's many more to come. Some of the topics that will be presenting in the next weeks to come will be social emotional learning at home, what parents can do to support what we do at the school. What is service learning will be another topic, and how we will be doing this in the school with students, and how you can also support service learning for our communities, again, with your families. We'll also have another webinar on ATL's approaches to learning, how students approach learning and how we can encourage those approaches to learning with children of all ages. We'll have another webinar called The Teenage Brain, which I love. It's about children, usually from year 6 and up through high school, about what is happening actually in the brain and what science knows, and why you sometimes think what's wrong with my child, but really it's nothing wrong with your child. They're in a developmental stage, a very high growth brain stage. So that'll be something else to talk about. And then at the end of today, we're going to survey parents for topics that you're interested in, that you would like us to bring maybe experts in, or because we can bring experts from different parts of the world in, and they can be in a webinar and meet with parents and just like our expert today. So I'll let Mr. Rico introduce our speaker for today. So thank you. Welcome, everybody.
So today we're very lucky. We have Jimena. Jimena is a parent of Verita, but she's also our school's ambassador for intercultural awareness and global citizenship, a very, very key and essential component in the world of education today, creating globally minded citizens and to really understand the world and as the next generation. So I'm gonna pass it over to Jimena to let her introduce herself, give you a bit of an overview of who she is and why she's here.
Hello everyone. Buenos dias. Here just a little bit of what I have done. So usually I work with corporations and train their CEOs to be able to manage huge companies around the world. Since more than 15 years, I'm also working and advocating for cultural awareness in the education sector, because I think, first of all, our kids are going to be the decision makers in the future. They are already decision makers now. And I think as the first slide said, one of the first skills that are needed now and that will be needed in the jobs of the future are exactly to be culturally aware. Culturally aware is just to have your eyes open and to understand other mindsets. This is a little beyond having folkloric dresses and typical food, but it's understanding how we think, because always we have to start with the self-awareness, like why do I think the way I think, and why are these things important to me, and then connect to try to understand why the others are thinking in a certain way. As a summary, I think you see here that I have done a variety of things, always related to education, children, minorities, religions, diversity, and so on. And the good news is I'm been coming every Wednesday to school. So all of you, any of you are more than welcome to drop me an email and we can have a coffee together and just chat more about this. I would really like to see more of you, hear your ideas and share experiences. Okay, so just a little overview, because I know talking about cultural awareness seems always exciting, and it is. But just to let you know that the World Economic Forum report of 2016 put some key skills for the 21st century in the job market. As you see in the foundational literacies, you have cultural and civic literacy. That's very important. Then in the competencies, you have critical thinking and problem solving, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Critical thinking and problem solving is something that Verita School really works with, and you can see already in the kids when they are telling you things that you didn't think about or make remarks, but it's also the result when you experience difference, when you travel around the world, when you meet people from other places, when you speak different languages, your brain is having the imprint of things done differently. For example, I'm just having here the book of chocolate, the history of chocolate. And it will be very interesting, for example, if you are just having a chocolate and then you think, where does this come from? And then you think, oh, okay, it was in Central America. And how was it drank? Because it was not drink or eaten the way we do it now. And so, for example, in some countries, you drink hot chocolate and you will add some cheese on it. And initially you will think, that's different. But when you experience that, you see that people are doing the same thing in a different way. And this is giving ideas to the brain and giving you more elements for exactly what I'm trying to say, the problem solving. Problem solving is trying to see solutions and options about things. And more in a so connected world, the questions are getting harder because you have to connect mindsets. And then in the third part, in the character qualities, you see that something very important is curiosity. And curiosity is one of the key elements also for a global mindset, for a global awareness. How others do these, how do these taste, how do we do things, why? All of this curiosity is very interesting. Then you have to have the initiative, the flexibility, and the adaptability. Okay, so for example, adaptability in the sense that you might have to do things in a different time or in a different way. In some countries, you are already at work at 7 o'clock in the morning or 8. In others, you arrive later, you have a coffee. So you have to adapt and understand. And as you see, there too, you have social and cultural awareness. So today, the idea is for us to explore how can we incentivize and have discussions and spark this idea of the cultural awareness and the global mindedness. Thank you. Okay, so as you see again, we are starting some from part of jobs, but also how this goes into education. So social and cultural awareness, I think this is part of the curriculum that we discussed. Yeah. Okay, so we are seeing now that these skills that we're thought to have to key players and leaders must be embedded also in the educational process, must be there every day to spark this cultural awareness in these conversations.
So just to add on top of what Jimena was talking about more in the Verita sense, you know, the notion of cultural competence and international mindedness, intercultural awareness, being culturally responsive, a lot of these elements are really embedded in the day-to-day practice, and especially in our curricula here at Verita. So even if when you look at our guiding statements or mission, vision, our responsibility is to wholly assist to emotional to the
Rico, I think that there's a problem with your with the streaming off of your. We can't hear you properly.
maybe it's
I think you're muted.
Hi there, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
If the parents can, if maybe
Sorry,
someone just
having
has to tell.
some technical issues over here. And of course, our emphasis on the social emotional learning, our curriculum for that, having cell classes, this is huge for us because we know what the 21st century skills are needed for these kids. And recently, we've also had a lot of praise for our inclusivity, our intercultural awareness, our emphasis on self from the Council of International School and the Council of British International School. So this is something that is very dear to the Verita family, and which is why we wanted to have Jimena, an expert on this topic.
You're in mute. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you, everyone. This is also part of the agility of the brain to be able to do these things online, even when we miss the face-to-face. But good times will come. Okay, so let's continue. I would just wanted to let you know that today we're going to see some things. There will be a moment that you will have to vote on something. So I want you please to do it, and we'll see what's coming now. And we'll also have, at the end, I will also share my email so you can always drop me questions or thoughts. So I've chosen this definition of culture, which is the more traditional from Hofstede. He was one of the first that started investigating. And what happened is that he himself applied for a job in the United States and he didn't get this job. So he thought, I was the best one for this job. And then he checked who got the job and he saw that the criteria was not what he thought. And he started thinking that there must be something there to look at. So he made a survey around the world. In that time, he used IBM. And he asked the same set of questions to all employees of IBM around the world. And when he got the answers, he realized that even though they were all belonging to the same corporate culture, their local cultures were also very important. And they were given significant different answers to questions that he thought would be very homogeneous. And that's when he started creating this concept of what we have today, corporate culture or institutional culture. The idea is that we all think, how do we make things work? How can we survive in the world? What should we give our kids so that they survive? And this becomes a culture where we're giving priority to certain things and we think this is the way to do things. Okay, let's see if you can hear and if the internet is fine. Can any of the parents let us know if you can hear properly? Yeah, okay, perfect. So I think it's very important, as I said, always to start with the scan of ourselves. Why do we think the way we think? Why do we give importance to certain things? Why do we do things? And you just have to look one day in your life and see how the layout of the day happens. And also how the layout of the children happens. Thank you for saying that you can hear. So I just want to show you a short video of something that I saw in a school in China, and it was very interesting for me, and I will tell you why. we're sorting our technical internet. It seems that it's very difficult. So the first thing is that our culture, oh, now we're just running all the slides. Okay, so what I wanted to say is this. If we look at a day in our life, we see how we do things, what we do give priority to, and that is telling you a little bit about our mindset and our culture. And the idea of this workshop today, again, is how can we spark these things at home? And I'm going to get there. I just want you to see this video. And I would like you, no, we can watch the video now, exactly. And while we watch the video, I would appreciate if you type some things of thoughts that are coming to you while watching this video. We're going to watch only half a minute, but we can see. Okay, you can play it now. So please, if we can go back to the video, just we have it on pause. Okay, so Raluca is telling us it's not working. It doesn't mind. If we have it frozen, I can describe what is in this video and we will send the link and you can watch it later. So what caught my attention here is I saw two videos. This one where the principal is dancing with the kids every time in the morning. And I thought a lot how in many places, what's the idea of a principal? Should a principal be very serious? Should a principal be involved? Should a principal be leading by example? And I thought this is very interesting that these students have the chance to do this with their principal and how they're all dancing the same dance. So a nice choreography requires discipline and practice and so on. So before we continue, I want to know about you, and we're going to have a poll now. You will have to vote into two options. Very simple question, very simple answer, and there's no right or wrong. So you have a target flower in the middle, and I want you parents now to vote which which group is more like the target. Is it group 1 or is it group 2? So we're going to open the poll now. And we need you please to vote and say if you think it's group number 1 or group number 2. Do it as fast as you can. We're going to give this just 1 minute and to see what comes. Are we able to see the image on the screen, Rico? Yeah, excellent. So we're going to close the poll in 30 seconds. Now somebody's saying they cannot see the groups. Can please, Rico, can you confirm that we have the image in the presentation? So you see there's two groups of flowers, group 1 and group 2 and the target group. Okay, thank you. So let's extend 30 more seconds to have the vote in the poll. Okay. Rico, are we getting any results?
So
okay. Okay, Andy, we are now in the next part. So the other participants are telling us they are able to see the new image. Okay, so we see that, we'll wait for you, Andy. We'll see that group 1 got the most votes and group 2 got 3 votes. Now, there is no answer to this question in the sense that there's no group that is right and there's no group that is wrong. Let me take a note. So 14 to 3. Now, what's the real difference here is what you're giving priority. So for some people that choose group 1, for example, they say the essential elements are there, or that you have more with the details. The difference in this exercise, if you pay more attention to the details, to the essence, to the structure, or to the decoration. Because, for example, in the group 2, you have 4 straight stems, only 1 leaf, but you have the circle, but you have this. And again, what I love at this example, and you won't believe I do work with this example when I'm working with decision makers in big companies, because ideally, the idea is that it's in the simple things that we see things different. We think everything is obvious and everybody says, yeah, it's common sense. Well, actually, it's not common and it doesn't make sense. What's more important about this picture also is that even though if you are in group 1 and you hear why people from group 2 chose this, still you will listen and you will say, well, I see your point, but internally you will still believe it's group 1. So this is the very first step of the cultural awareness and the global mindset, which is understand that in something very simple, we're giving priority to different things. We're thinking and seeing and paying attention to a different thing. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so this is what I was saying. It's all related to perspective. We call it in the intercultural field, the cultural glasses. So what do we see through these glasses? The lenses that we see things through are shaped by my cultural background. What I have been told is very important. So let me give you an example. To visit a country, and he made it. He was there to inaugurate, I don't know, a sports center or something. People were very upset because he was in sports gear. And many of them say, oh, this is very disrespectful. He should have used a suit. While other people was thinking, well, he's a very busy man. At least he made it. So again, we can see at the same thing from different perspectives through the glasses of what we have been told and we have been learned that is important. And this is what we're passing to children as well. So it's very important also to see other experiences and say, okay, always in a situation to think, what is the way that this can be seen? What is the perspective from the other side? Okay, let's continue. Thank you. Okay, so I'm making a comparison here, and I'm just making it because there's a point coming after. In cultures, there's no right or wrong, there's just difference. So for example, I was comparing what's the relation to power in Sweden and in Romania. And what it says here is that in Sweden, there's more access to everyone to power to make decisions. You don't have to ask many people to make a decision. Well, in Romania, there's more distance. There's always someone above to make decisions and to ask. Now, let me walk you, and I'm just doing this so that you start reflecting about your own process and what's happening in your own home or around you. So let's go to the next step.
We'll bring her over here. So we're just gonna bring him in over here. We have some technical issues. Apologies.
There we go. Thank you. So as I was saying, I'm going to walk you through this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I became a parent while I was living in Sweden. So my own perceptions of things had to be flexible. So let me tell you what would be the life of a kid in Sweden from the moment they wake up. As you see in the picture, maybe it's the dad who is preparing the kids and the mom who's going to work, because in Sweden the paternity leave is 420 days, out of which 60 to 90 are mandatory for the dad to take. So the morning can start like that. After that, the kids go to school, usually to the school that is close to them. And when they are in the school, the grades, they start having grades on year 6. So the first parts of the years of learning are focused for people to know how to learn how to learn, be okay with the social environment, and learn the social rules. There's a lot of teamwork, so very little on individual praise. It's important that they learn about the school routines. There's not very strict on the clothes, so there's no uniforms. And then most of the time until year 6, the kids are doing self-grading. And they're also grading how do they feel at school. When there is like a meeting with the teacher, like what you have at the end of the year or in the middle of the year, you meet the parent, the kid, and the student. I mean, the parent, the teacher, and the student, where there is an active conversation and you talk with the kids, not about the kids. So let's say there's an area where things are not working or it's difficult for the kid. It's not that the parents and the teacher will decide, okay, he has to do this and this and this and that, then the kid will be told. But he will be engaged in the conversation. Why am I saying this? Because if we compare these to the power, the thing that I showed you before, this goes along because since you're a kid, you have this access to have a voice and to have power and to decide on your things and to be someone at the table when discussing. Kids know from the very beginning about the children's rights. They're all over the place, they are discussed. They know what is the telephone to call in case there is a problem. And you see in the image on the right, that is from news. At 6 or 7, I can't remember, there is news for children. And this is not only news about Disney World or something like that. Topics like, I don't know, wars and others that are having current affairs are discussed in a way for children. So children have access to information to know, firsthand, to know about the world they're living in. And again, they have a lot of say from the beginning. So let's say then this kid who is very outspoken and given a word is traveling to a country where the education is different and the teacher is the only one that has the say and the kids have to be a different mindset. What is a good student? Is a student that listens, that participates, that is outcoming. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of this to see how would be the life of others. But what was important about today was how we can spark things at home, even when we're not traveling. And I'm coming to that now. Okay, so I use this, and I know there are some Spanish speaking, German speaking, and Romanian speaking here. What traveling, having a global mindset does to your brain is giving you dexterity. It's having the ability to go in different ways and think different. And your mind to be agile, to move fast, to think, to sort issues and problems and find solutions, even when there's ambiguity, to be able to read situations and people and things faster. This is done by this exposure to different things. So if you see here the number 24, I wrote it in Spanish, and in Spanish, the way you will construct the word would be, you have the word 20, you have and then you have the word for. And then when you're finally saying 24, which is 24, you have merged the word. By 20, you have changed. The Y has transformed, has turned into something different, and now is a full word. I know there's someone that speaks German here, so I apologize, friends, but 24, you have the 4, you have the and the 20. And finally, when it comes together with the and without transforming. So it's all together one. Now I was looking at Romanian and see how would you say this in Romanian. You have 20, you have the word and for, and in this case, it remains separate. It doesn't become a whole thing. If you pay attention also here, in the case of German, there's a swap. So you don't say 20 first and then you say 4, you swap and you say 4 and 20. So when you're exposed to this, your mind has to go back and forward. You have to say, okay, in this case we merge, in this case we don't, in this case we swap, in this case we keep it. And just by this, we're increasing the mental agility. So how many times you have to weight something with your kids? So something I do is when we have to wait, I say, let's count up in 20, but this time we will count in X language, or until 10, 4 times. And each time, maybe many times we change language. I am learning too, some languages. So it's important for your kids also to see that you're not perfect at everything and how you are yourself exploring and looking for things. Okay, now let's move. Okay, so how do we do this? So something very important is that you give the kids the possibility to failure, to make mistakes. Many times when kids are learning 2 languages, while they're speaking, they will say something wrong. Don't correct them on the spot. Let them express the idea. That's the most important thing. And let them brainstorm. When something happens at home, don't be scared to go into imagination. Say something like, what do you think happened here? Or when you're in the street, should say, what could have happened here? And let them think about crazy ideas. That is a very good way to explore this global mindset. And now, how do I do this? Look for things around us. So I just put these pictures because I looked around me and I saw that I have kiwi and potatoes, for example. I was thinking, how many times we eat kebab? Do we know what kebab means? Does it mean grill? Does it mean chicken? Does it mean slices? Does it mean snack? So try to use the opportunities to travel in the mind and to see this. How many times we eat something that maybe is a snack in another country, or how big is the breakfast? Is it very small? Is it very big? And I was thinking kiwi, the word. We eat the kiwi, we've seen it green, sometimes it comes yellow. Where does it come from? Watching a map, see how things have to travel. And also the word, what does it mean? There's a bird that has the name kiwi, so how does that work? And then potatoes, for example. Potatoes, where did they come from? How did they arrive? What was their trip? So see how things are traveling. You have many things around you and say, well, look at this. The potato initially come from the highlands, and the name in Spanish is this one, and how we use it now. And then, for example, corn. I showed people that corn can come purple, yellow, white, and people are surprised. Look at this, for example. I bought these tulips yesterday in the market. And I thought, wow, if I think these are specific tulips, they travel from Netherlands to Bucharest. But the word in Romania, lalele, actually has done another route. You say lale in Turkish, but actually the word comes from Persian. So we see two travels, the way the word travel and made it to become part of the Romanian, and how the thing itself traveled. So the idea here is to think things that are around us and think really, what does this come for? Why do I do things in a certain way or not? Let me give you an example. The coffee. I always wait the coffee 2 minutes for it to be the right temperature to drink. Why? Because I grew up in the highlands, 2,800, 3,000 meters above the sea level. And when you're up there, the things get cold faster. So I'm used to serve the coffee and after 30 seconds be able to drink it without blowing or sipping. And here I have to always wait and wait. Small things in your daily life are acting different. Think about the coffee, think about the milk. Everything around you is an opportunity to spark the different ways we create this global mind, understanding that we do things different, we think different, and we see things different. That's the most important one. We have a small survey for you now. Again, this was the very first introduction to the whole topic. We will have future workshops coming, and I will let Teresa speak about this, and then I will be back with you for the little survey.
Thank you, Jimena. Sorry for the Wi-Fi. We obviously we're working through those issues, but thank you very much. So we're having a survey for you to end our webinar today. We hope to get your input and have some new ideas, and we really look forward to the next time. So I think Rico thumbs up to Jimena. Is Rico going to put that survey on right now? Okay, that's great. And with that, I would really like to thank Jimena for her time today. And I know that she sincerely would like it if you would contact her with questions, or if you need some resources, or you want to just chat about intercultural with your family or with your children or with yourself. So thank you, Jimena, very much. It was great. Thank you. All right, Rico, there we go.
Yeah, remember, and you also have access to my email, so we can discuss more there. And I hope I have sparked many ideas, and I would like to hear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jimena. So just to let you know about the survey. So right when I end the webinar, you're going to be directed immediately on your web browser to a survey. And the survey is only 2 questions. One of them is just going to be after today's very informative and useful workshop on cultural competence, cultural awareness. We're very curious to know, what do you think you're going to start doing immediately? The second question is actually to gather more feedback from all of you to see what are other topics you would like us to explore and address in the coming series. So from all 3 of us from Verita, thank you very much for your attendance, your participation. It's one of the many series. It's going to be exciting, and we look forward to hosting more of these to engage with all of you. Thank you very much, everyone.
And we'll make, there we go, perfect. And we'll make Jimena's email, someone would like her to put it in the chat, if that's okay, before you actually exit. So would you mind putting Jimena's email in the chat? That would be great. And again, both Rico and I are also available anytime for you to, give us a call or an email, and we can absolutely meet with you and talk more about these topics. So thank you. And if you are an expert yourself as a parent in one of the topics, we would love to have you as a guest on our webinar series as well. So please let us know if you have a topic that you would like to present, or you have something you'd like to share with the community at Verita Live. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.